Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel, Jenga Arc Studio. We are going to continue with what we did. This is part 2 of our previous video, how to design a cattle shed. So as you can see, the superstructure is ongoing. So let's get right into it. Now our first item on our agenda today is gonna be the feeding troughs. So you come to the design tool, architectural tool, come to the object, and always make sure your computer is connected to the internet. So we are gonna search for feeding trough, and since ArchiCAD doesn't have anything about feeding troughs, let's find a wash tub such as this, and I want it to have a height of 800 from the ground level. I want it to have a width of 600 is okay. I can make it 1600. That's okay, that's okay. Well, we are improvising a sink to look like a wash tub. Sorry, we are improvising it to act as a feeding trough. So we're gonna place it right here. Then now we can make our adjustments. Just zoom in, that, select it, and drag it all the way to the edge, which is somewhere there. And as you can see, I have a line tool here, which is the distance from this. Let me just delete it and do it again. So what I want us to do, there should be an opening here for entrance of the animals and the staff who take care of it, or any other visitor. So I want it to have a distance of about 1500. So you just tap on that line tool, move, and we are gonna drag a copy there, and let's call it 1500. So that should be the distance. Also, we'll need a column here so that it can act as a supporting member. So let's just pick a parameter from this existing column, and we place it right there at the middle, or we can place it at the edge. Just press escape first, then we pick up parameters from this column, and we place it here, place it there, press escape, and let's place it as a center. Will make work easier. So come here, pick up parameters, point out on this column, and we place it there. So this bit here is our entrance area. We need another wash tub, so a feeding trough, sorry about that. So you just pick up parameters on this existing one and add it there. Let's select it. Now we can adjust it. Go to the settings, the positioning, and let's give it a width of 1100. See where that takes us. So we adjust it. Let's just drag the copy. Let's just drag it to somewhere there. That being done, we can push this to the edge right there. and we can have a wall. So you go to the line tool. I want a wall to act as a retainer all around the feeding troughs. So you go to the design tool, the architectural tool, tap on the wall. Here we go. This is not a load bearing wall, so we can make it 100 mm high. And make it 0 there. We make it 800 high. And we can place it somewhere there. There we go. I have another wall here. That being done, as you can see, there is some inconsistency here at the intersection. So what you do for search, you come to tap on the wall tool, not that, tap on the wall tool, and this other wall. So basically what I want is both walls to intersect at the joint and form a well-shaped right angle. Come here at the top of the dialog box. As you can see, there is the intersect tool. You tap that and voila. As you can see, it's a nice square wall. Same for this other part. Tap this, hold the shift button, tap this, and tap intersect. There we go. So our trough is done. Let's go to the 3D, take a look. So let's just move closer. So as you can see, there is a bit of a problem because I want them to, the top of this basin, the trough to flush with the wall. So you just select it, select, hold the shift key, and we drop them to there. Press escape, there we go. Looking good. We have our troughs ready. So we can assume one is for water, one is for food. The longer one should be for food, the shorter one for water. We also have our column right here. And what we've done for this, we are going to replicate for all the divided slots where the cows will be. So you just come tap, hold the shift key, tap that. Let me just repeat that. Tap that, tap that, tap that, tap that. Hold it, hold that. Hold that. Right click and drag this copy. Oh yeah, there is the column too. And should be in line. Let's just repeat that process again. Now we can move and drag multiple copies. So it goes there. Goes there. goes there. It goes there. First place them at the position, then you can always fine tune later. Please remember to subscribe to our channel if you enjoy this kind of content. Our comment section is always open for interactions. If you want to criticize, if you want to ask a question, if you want a one-on-one with me, a one-on-one consultation with me, you just reach out and we can have that too. So that being done, we can place that there. Then I want us to rotate this bit. Exactly. So that when you place it on this other side, it makes sense. So we drag multiple copies as usual. Press escape and let's just zoom in to ensure that we are doing the right thing when positioning. Remember, the column should be at the center. There we go. For this other one, same thing. Attention to detail is always important so that you do not mislead the builder. Not yet. That is much better. It's much better. So we can zoom out. Let's make it 500. Let's make it 100. See where that takes us. So we can always delete this since it is of no use at the moment. And we select this bit, right click, and always ensure all items, objects, and elements are selected. Move, drag multiple copies. We move it to the next one. we are moving on swiftly. And we are done. There we go. Right click and exit. We can fit it into window. We go to the 3D view and take a look at what we've been doing, whether it makes sense. There you go. There are our feeding troughs. That is good enough. So we can move on to the next element. And our next element is really a very basic move, but very crucial and important for any structure. So let's work on the ground floor slab. You come to the design tool, architectural tools, and tap on the slab. And I want it to be a concrete structural slab. That is okay. The thickness should stick to 150. The level should be at ground zero. That is good enough. Let's make it concrete. Concrete number 4. That's okay for all of them. Press OK. Please note that my construction method for slab is this rectangular. It makes work easy. So you just try and locate it. There we go. That is good enough. We zoom out and we zoom into the edge. This is where our slab will get to. Zoom out and fit it into window. Tap anywhere in the screen, and as you can see, we have our slab. Again, we go to the 3D view. Take a look. There we go. We can always navigate around it. I hope you can see the color changing. That's our concrete slab. And we are good to go. We are good to go. On to our next element. This being a cattle shed, we remember that animals have to poop all the time. The staff have to keep on cleaning, which brings up a requirement for drainage. Excuse me, which brings up a requirement for a drainage system. And I want us to place it at the center, whereby water will be draining from this edge to the drain, then from this other edge to the drain. So we go back to the ground floor. Basically, our drain is to span from here all the way to the edge. So we can zoom into our slab tool. So we can locate the center of our wall and have our drainage to start from there. which is here. So you right click on the slab tool, right click, activate the tool. From there, I want our, since our construction method is rectangular, our length will be 45 200 and our width will be 600. That should be sufficient. So as you can see, we already have our drainage system. Let me just zoom out. There is our cut. The next step should be, there should be a wall, some sort of retaining wall for the to help in draining the water. And I normally advise that natural stone is very important, is quite useful for such works or concrete, because natural stone walling is does not permeate water basically, or moisture. So I want our wall to be 460. This is two courses, a course being at 230 millimeters, and there we go. We can start on the wall. Just zoom in to the document. Fit it to window, zoom in to the edge. Always remember the placement of the wall. The face basically to be on the outside. Same thing for this other side. Spans all the way to here. All the way to there. We can take a look in the 3D view. There goes our walls. Let's just zoom in a bit. There you go. Our next step should be adding, we should have a concrete slab at the bottom of the drain, which will drain the water out. So you come to the slab tool again, tap that. So you come to the slab tool, which is here. Select that. We can make the slab to be 100 mm should be sufficient, since it's just some sort of blinding to drain the water, and I want it to be 460 below ground level. So that being done, we can do our slab, which starts from there and spans all the way to there. There we go. Let's take a look in the 3D view, and there is our slab. There is our slab. Now, that being done, the next step is, since this is a hole and could be a cause for injury, safety is very important. So we are gonna add gratings which will span from this end to this end, and to do that, we're gonna basically create a grating. To do that, we come to the beam tool. There it is. Tap on the beam tool, and the grating, I want it to be, come to the segment, sorry, I want it to be circular, and have a thickness, or rather the diameter, sorry. It's always advisable to use deformed bars for such. I want it to be 20 millimeters. That's basically a D20 or a T20, and
span it from there to there, press escape, tap on that, and the spacing, drag a copy to be spaced at 100 mm, drag a copy 100 mm should be sufficient. Right click, move, drag a copy 100 mm, right click, move, drag a copy. The first few of these I like doing them manually, then we'll drag multiple copies and hasten the process. So just be patient. If you're good at it, you can move ahead, drag a copy, add that 100 mm, right click, move, drag a copy 100 mm, right click, move, drag a copy 100 mm, right click, drag a copy 100 mm, right click, drag a copy 100 mm, right click, move, drag a copy. From that, we can select all of them, hold the shift key as you tap into them. Right click and drag multiple copies. So you just tap into that and there we go. There we go. Should take less than a minute now. There we go. There we go. We are moving on swiftly. There we go. I think we are almost done. And out of that, hold the shift button. There's just a few remaining. Right click and drag a copy to there. just add a few more. Right click, move, and drag a copy. We are good to go. Our grading is done, and we can now take a look. Let's just give it a minute as the 3D updates. That is it. And as you can see, there is our grading. Let's just work on it. Rather take a view of it. That's a bird's eye view of our structure so far. And that brings us to the end of episode number 2. Stay tuned for the third episode. Thank you for watching.